following the channel's journey, and I wanted to get your feedback. What you think of if I were to follow what you've all been asking for and doing a little bit of a potential rebrand. So, I've had several people who follow my channel. I've always talked about prednisone. I'm the prednisone pharmacist. I'm Dr. Megan, the prednisone pharmacist. That's how I sign off everything. All my videos are about prednisone. And I have made almost 1,800 videos about one drug. And so people are saying, hey, I love the way you teach. I would love it if you would make videos about other medications. And I think, okay, cool. But which medications, what are most important? So, what medications are the most important to you? Like, what more would you like to know? I go so deep in every topic of prednisone, but what other medications would you want to hear about? Um, I mean, I can just go like the most popular medications in America and just go through that list from the number one most popular all the way down to the number 200. But is that what you want? Because I want to serve you. You're the people who matter. Your opinions matter the most. So if you're taking prednisone and another medication, or you have a family member or somebody you care for who's taking another medication and you have questions about it, I would love to know. What are those questions? Like, what more do you want to know about, say, metformin or lisinopril for blood pressure? What other information do you want to know? And so if I am going to make this kind of change, having my channel called Dr. Megan Prednisone Pharmacist is a little confusing if I'm talking about metformin, right? And fun fact is when I first came up with the idea for creating a supplement for people on prednisone, I now call it Nutrinize, but that's not the first name I called it. I originally called it RX Side FX, like big R, little X, big S, IDE, big FX, 8 letters. RX side effects. And it's like, I'm so clever. This is so awesome. I'm going to have this cute little supplement to help with prescription drug side effects. RX prescription side effects, side effects. Like, and it's a prescription, like my way of helping you cope with side effects, like my prescription. My diagnosis is you're suffering side effects from a medication, and it's because you have nutrient depletion. So if I give you this, it's going to help those side effects go away because it's replenishing the nutrients. So that was the original name of my company. But when I tried to get my formula manufactured, the manufacturer refused to make it with that name because the RX is actually a like really important legal thing. If you have an RX symbol, that means you're talking about prescriptions, which means you are claiming to be a drug, like an FDA approved drug. And then that's a whole legal disaster. And then I'm going to get taken down by the FDA and I can't sell my supplement. I can't help people on prednisone. So they're like, you have to change your name. So that's why it's now called Nutrinize. Okay. So with that, I still love that name. And so I've kept paying for the URL rxsidefx.com for 7 years. I kept my logo and I'm going to find a way to use this is what I keep telling myself because I just love it so much. So I was chatting with AI yesterday and I've told it all about myself. And I said, AI, I want to start a podcast. And that I just announced that, hey, I want to start a podcast. People keep talking about my YouTube channel as if it is a podcast. I guess what I do is communicate in a very podcast like similar manner. I just happen to do a video podcast. But none of that audio is in the podcasting world. It is not available on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anything. It's all strictly here on YouTube and a little bit on Facebook. And so I was like, if I do start a podcast, because people keep telling me that this is a podcast, might as well just put the audio out there. What should I call it? Because I don't want to be limited to just prednisone, although that's what 99% of my content is about. And so I said, what about RX side effects? And AI thought was a good idea. So, do you think that's a good idea? Should I call the future podcast that I host RX side effects? And then I want to share the beautiful podcast description it came up with and see what you think. I really want your feedback. Okay, let's see. Because what it said, this is kind of embarrassing. I talked to an AI and it made me cry. So, because it was just so me, the output it came up with was just everything I've dreamt that my communications, everything would be. I mean, I'd fed it everything. So it was just reflecting it back to me, but I honestly cried. So I'm trying to pull it up, but I'm having a hard time. Okay. Let's see if I can. Okay, RX side effects. Okay. Here we go. So, I told AI everything about me, everything about my business, everything about what I've done in the past. And this is what it came up with. And this is when I cried when I read this. So this is me being very vulnerable with you. And this is what the new future podcast intro would be. The RX Side Effects podcast, which is, you spell it out, RX Side Effects, is hosted by Dr. Megan, the prednisone pharmacist, a board-certified doctor of pharmacy, third-generation pharmacist, and former high-dose prednisone patient. After living through the miracle and misery of powerful medications herself, she now helps other medication warriors understand what their drugs are doing to their bodies and what they can practically do to reduce side effects, replenish what meds steal, and protect their long-term health. On this show, you'll get clear, research-backed education in plain English about prednisone and other strong medications, along with actionable strategies you can bring to your healthcare team. Dr. Megan breaks down complex topics like prednisone and steroid side effects, medication-induced nutrient depletion and how to replenish it, bone health, blood sugar, and weight changes on meds, sleep, mood, and mental health while taking powerful drugs, safer tapering and withdrawal considerations, when to worry, when to call your doctor, and how to advocate for yourself. Episodes will mix solo teaching, deep dives into specific medications, Q&As and FAQs, and conversations with other patients, clinicians, and health experts. I've done 2 of those interviews this week. They're going to be so good. You'll also get behind the scenes insight into how I design Nutrinizone and bundles for medications, plus practical ways to use tools to organize your health information and communicate more effectively with your care team. Along the way, I, Dr. Megan, will share pieces of my own story, navigating life on prednisone, balancing family, faith, and business, and rebuilding your health after treatment so you feel less alone and more understood. My goal is not to scare you off your medication or make wild promises, but to give honest, compassionate guidance that fills the gap between what your doctor has time to explain and what you're actually experiencing day to day. The RX Side Effects podcast is for people currently taking or tapering off medications like prednisone and other strong prescription drugs, as well as their caregivers. If you're proactive, curious, and want to get the life-saving benefits of your medications and feel like more like yourself again, this podcast is for you. So, what feedback do you guys have? What do you think? King of Lick says, I love your vids, very informative. Hand pink waving. Yes. Good. What other medications should I talk about? I talk about prednisone a ton. What other ones do you want to know more about? Drop them in the chat. And that's all I have time for today. So thank you for joining me. But if you watch this later, please let me know, what other medications should I talk about? What questions do you have about those medications? And then I can make videos for you. All right. Signing off is Dr. Megan, the prednisone pharmacist.